Alright, it is not a great day for wrestling, for more reasons than one. Um, but primarily because we lost another great legend this week. Bushwacker Butch has unfortunately passed away. Um, this one really sucks because he was truly a legend in this business. Robert Miller, um, at the age of 78, passed away. Scooter, what can you say about the Bushwhackers?
Well, most people know, Butch and Luke as the, quick dancing, walkabout Australian New Zealanders. I'm sorry. Uh, Known as the Bushwhackers, who, when they weren't uh, doing the job to most teams, they were licking heads. Um,
Uh, Mean Gene. Well, this was
no, everybody's head. Anyone's head they could get their hands on, they'd lick.
this was pre Bang Bang,
Uh,
just so you know.
um, of course, before that, they were known as the sheep herders, and they were two of the most hardcore wrestlers on the planet. They were hardcore before hardcore was even a thing.
I believe they will manage to even try to group with Johnny Ace as well.
Uh, Johnny. Ooh, let's see. Yeah. They were in. Bushwhackers were inducted by Johnny Ace into the WWE Hall of Fame.
In
I don't have any
2018.
direct. Yeah, I don't have any direct reference to them ever actually working together in the ring. Um, uh, Butch did have the shortest record uh, for time spent in the Royal Rumble before it was broken and broken again. Um, I did have uh, the great pleasure of working with Bushwacker Luke um, when the NYWC brought him in for a one night appearance. And when he was taking pictures, he lifted up the skirt of a woman who was taking pictures with him. Yeah. Uh, Nevertheless, if you always, used to do that arm swinging movement that the Hasbro figures did, and the catchy theme music, and literally the worst tag team finisher of all time. But you know what? They were super fun to watch.
Without a doubt. And if you watched 80s pro wrestling, rest assured the Bushwhackers were probably on your TV. So, of course, our thoughts and prayers go out to the friends and families of Bushwacker Butch. On, without a further ado, we are wrestling with WrestleMania 39. It was last Saturday and Sunday. It took place at Sophie Stadium in Englewood, California. Um, Night one attendance was 80,497. Night two was 81,395. Combined 61,892. depending on who you ask, allegedly. And we are going to start with night one. Uh, we're not going to do the what did you think as a whole yet because I think we all know what our thoughts on this show as a whole was. But let's get into it. Austin Theory defeated John Cena for the United to retain the WWE United States Championship in 11 minutes and 20 seconds. Honestly, pretty generic John Cena match. Nothing interesting or exciting happened. Just kind of going through the beats and motions. Your thoughts, Guido?
Good match for what it was. Uh, Generic opener, in spite of the fact that it was Cena, and that maybe it should have felt like more. Um, did it do its purpose? I'm still debating that, whether Austin Theory beating Cena clean does anything for him.
I mean, it didn't seem like it did anything for him. Honestly, I'd say last year getting stunned by Stone Cold was a bigger moment for Austin than for Theory Austin, not Austin Steve. Um, than this was for Theory, honestly. And I mean, they literally brought the little known wrestler Kid Makanza to accompany John Cena just to see him lose. How many stars do you give this match, Scooter?
Uh, I'll split it right down the middle, 2.5.
I couldn't agree more. Alright, the Street Profits defeated Braun Strowman, Rick Lachey, Chad Gable, Otis, and Eric and Ivor with Valhalla in a WrestleMania showcase fatal four-way tag team match in 8 minutes and 30 seconds. And all honestly, this match should have not been as good as it actually was. In 8 minutes,
Yep.
they literally pulled out all the stops. They got a match that people literally called the P break match and have them chant "This is awesome" because it actually was. These guys laid it all out though. Scooter?
Yeah. Uh, I had my eyes glued to the entirety of this match. Um, and when you can do that with a match that's just designed to get as much talent on the card as possible, well, then you probably should start paying more attention to that talent.
And what does that say about these guys? All of them, not just the Street Profits. That they were literally just given a spot and they took an opportunity.
I mean, the street profits, you give them an inch and they'll turn it into a mile.
You're not
Um,
wrong about that. I think one of the unexpected Mania moments was Chad Gable doing that rolling chaos uh, German suplex on Braun Strowman. That definitely got a big pop. That woke a lot of people up.
yes, the O'Connor roll German.
I call it rolling chaos from because Doug Williams. Alright, how many stars do you give this one?
I want to give it 4. I'm going to give it 3.5, only because it it felt like it was longer, but it was less than 10 minutes, so 3.5.
Yeah, I'll give it 3.5 as well. Alright, Seth freaking Rollins defeated Logan Paul with KSI, in 16 minutes and 15 seconds. When Seth Rollins is in the ring, how do you expect it not to be a great match? Uh, Logan Paul, I hate this guy so much, but he's so freaking talented. He's so freaking talented that he's honestly so much. He's more athletic than a lot of the guys backstage, and he makes the buckshot lariat look so much more professional than Hangman Page. That he should retire it. Um, that being said, uh, how sure were you that Jack Tomlinson was in that Battle of Fun?
I wasn't sure. I thought honestly, I thought it was going to be Jake in there. Uh, but I mean, last week, or was it 2 weeks ago, where I brought up KSI, um, potentially doing something at Mania. So
I don't remember that because I don't know who KSI is.
it's funny because there were a number of other YouTube personalities in attendance.
And I'm more than sure I had no idea who those people were as well.
You'd be correct.
Yes. Uh, but yeah, Seth freaking Rollins. It, having the Prime bottle be KSI and all the little absurdities, it just honestly it didn't take away. It just added to how great this match was. And dare I say, this might have been the best match on night one. But what say you, Scooter? How many stars you give it?
I'll give it an easy 4.
And I couldn't agree more. Cool. Alright, we got Trish Stratus, Lita, and Becky Lynch versus Damage Control. Um, we got Io Sky, and on that form there was a Dakota Kai with a barely here and a Dakota there, Io everywhere. What you think of the match?
There was a match. Um, hmm. I mean, Trish, Lita, and Becky against Damage Control. Honestly, a waste of talent.
Are you talking
Uh,
about
uh, uh,
Damage Control or Trish and Lita?
champions should never be in a 6-man tag match going into WrestleMania. Um, it, 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 it reduces the value of titles that are already seen as the lowest championships in the company. And
Yeah.
I mean, you got a decent match, but there was no real there was no real storyline to this, and therefore there was no real payoff.
I understand what you mean, but I mean the tag team championships would have it mattered if it was in the showcase four way. I think we would probably care even less about this match if it was, or those titles. Honestly, I thought it was a good match. These girls beat the crap out of each other. Um, Honestly, going back and watching it on TV because I was live there to watch it, it was actually a better match on TV than it was at the show. My feelings, anyway. Uh, Championship wise, I mean, nobody cares about those titles. And the payoff was that Damage Control and Becky Lynch are done, because that was kind of Lita and Trish were brought in to be backup for Becky. So in that regard, yeah, I think it was a payoff. And now Lita's probably gonna drop the belts to Liv and Raquel, I guess. But
I mean, yeah, they've got the defense on Raw,
yeah,
and there's a bit more to talk about in regards to Raw and SmackDown as we continue on.
right. But yeah, I didn't have any problems with this match. The story was there for me. How many stars do you give this one?
I'll give it. I'll give it 3.
I'll give it 3.5. All right, we got Rey Mysterio versus Dominic Mysterio. Rey defeated Dom in 14 minutes and 55 seconds. Um, Honestly, one of the more anticipated matches of the night. Maybe obviously this wasn't going to be Okada versus Omega in the Tokyo Dome, but it didn't need to be that. It was what it needed to be, and it was an entertaining match from start to finish. Lots of Gaga, um, interference by Bad Bunny, the family dynamic, and at the end of it, it was a cool little family moment for not just Ray but his entire family. So I really dug this, and whether you were there live or seeing it on TV, it hit all the same. Scooter, your thoughts?
Uh, I liked it. I liked the fact that Dominic wasn't getting uh, that Dominic's mom and Leah were not taking any more crap from him. I love the fact that we've got the Latino World Order back.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, and this time around, it's father beating son, which sounds very wrong.
oh, that was in the papers. It literally said father beat son at WrestleMania.
And also, Ray beat Dominic.
Exactly. Alright, how many stars do you give this?
3.5.
And it is worth mentioning that Dominic probably had the best entrance anybody else had at WrestleMania. The whole coming from prison to have the match.
Oh yeah, that's it. That's the other thing that I have to dock them for. Uh, whoever did the the entrance video for Dominic uh, didn't do their research because they used footage of the concentration camp at Auschwitz.
Yeah, that's not cool. But I don't believe it was at the It was in the footage of the on the pre-show, but I don't believe it was used on the actual WrestleMania uh,
No,
show.
yeah, it was not used on the actual Mania broadcast.
Yeah. For all everything I just said, I give it 4 stars because it was what it needed to be and so much more. Alright, Rhea Ripley defeated Charlotte Flair to capture the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship in 23 minutes and 35 seconds. Um, not the best match for either woman. Um, I never felt like Rhea was on Charlotte's level the whole long way build up to this match, and then the match just kind of confirmed more to me that she wasn't on Charlotte's level at this point. But I understand that Charlotte is leaving at this point and needed to drop the belt to somebody, so obviously she did the right thing. But yeah, that's kind of I kind of felt like the match kind of fell flat in my opinion. But what say you, Sue?
That it absolutely fell flat. In fact, I think I took 6 pee breaks.
Six P's in 23 minutes.
I have, I have kidney problems,
Hmm.
and I blame that on Charlotte Flair.
I think you should blame the Street Profits for having such a great match that you couldn't go pee during that match.
Well, that's why they bring out those solo cups.
Solo Sokoa Cups?
I mean, what, you think they always just wasted all that plastic? No. They gave them out to people in the front row, and they could just, take a piss in them.
So you're telling
Hey,
me that.
don't look at me like that. Don't look at me like that, you listeners.
So you're saying that Dominic spilled. No, no, we're not going there.
Red Solo Cup. I just threw up on Dominic's money. Cracking myself up.
Will you stop it?
Will you start it?
How many stars do you give this match?
Um, God, if negative infinity was a number, I'd probably give it that. 2 stars.
I give it 3, just because it was a title match, and it. Mainly, I give it 3 stars because this wasn't Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey from last year.
And Sean from last year wasn't even that good to begin with.
It was a. I mean, there was no botches at least. You gotta, you gotta give them that. All right. The next match, Pat McAfee defeated The Miz in 3 minutes and 40 seconds. What were your thoughts on this match?
I told you. I told you he'd show up.
And that's indeed he did. Unfortunately, see, it was at the show. I don't know if the crowd was just spent or they were expecting Lashley or LA Knight to do it, but he did not get the the reaction that I thought he was going to get. And he tried to bring the crowd more into it, but it just seemed like the crowd wasn't into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, they didn't. They weren't getting. It wasn't Seven Nation Army.
Oh, that's true. But I mean, you were there, Kaliko. What are your thoughts? We're talking about Pat McAfee and The Miz.
Ooh, man, Pat Mac, yeah, the Rhea match. They wanted Rhea to win so bad, and the moment that Rhea won, people were already heading to the bathroom because they knew them, so they just wanted to get the shit out the way before they sat for the main event.
So they wasn't using the red solo cups?
I mean, consider considering how that stadium was built, like the way that they laid it out was bad different. So like prime example, right? In Dallas, if you were in the risers, you got to go to the floor to go to the bathroom. This for some odd reason, LA being LA, they made you go up into the common folk. So that alone is like fuck that. I'd rather get it out the way now.
Hmm. Right. How many stars do you give Pat
If I
McAfee?
had a motherfucker,
How many stars do you give Pat McAfee versus The Miz Scooter?
Oh, 10 stars. Um, uh, I will. God, I can't believe uh, I'm saying this. One star.
Kaliko?
one because when it was placed, where it was placed, that's why. It's not because of Pat. It's because of the unfortunate spot they were in.
And I'll be nice here. I'll give it 2 stars because it was Pat McAfee. It was a good little pop, and he literally tried his
You,
best to get those people into that match.
you're the one who hates Pat McAfee.
I love Pat
He did
McAfee.
better. He did better than Shane.
He did.
Uh,
All right. And that takes us to maybe one of the best video packages of the night for the main event, and yeah, it's really got you in the mood for the match, and it was just you know ready for the main event. Great video package, and then a quick word from our sponsors. How how pissed off was you at that TurboTax commercial between the video package and the actual main event, Kaliko?
Bro, that was the most pissing thing I've ever seen in my life. Like everybody knew it was like okay, and it wasn't because it was just a constant thing. It was like what the fuck? Like I didn't come here for commercials, nigga.
It,
Like I could have stayed at home if I knew I was coming for commercials.
I mean, literally, it was right after they
The
get to
video
the ring,
package
and
because
then
everybody had their cameras out and they were ready, and fucking
exactly.
safety dance comes on. Like what the
Oh my god! And that was the worst thing that happened for the 2 nights. All right,
yeah,
Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn defeated Jimmy and Jay the Usos to capture the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships in 24 minutes and 15 seconds. This is why WrestleMania is two nights and why it works. Because these two guys wouldn't have gotten this opportunity, wouldn't have had got this opportunity, wouldn't have been considered for this opportunity if it wasn't two nights. It was a great match that told a great story, and it delivered on athleticism, the story, and at the end, a great moment. Kaliko, your thoughts?
Considering storyline, this might have been the best tag team match I've seen in my life because it was personal. That's why it was just
Right.
personal. It felt like I told you it was. I don't remember a long time ago. I remember I told y'all it was like Pocahontas and John Smith, right? Jay Uso was Pocahontas and he got his ass clipped.
Yes.
For some, got, 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 got his ass clipped for trying to save the white boy. So hey, that's it happens. But as far as a match, I think I've never seen a crowd more invested at WrestleMania in a tag match in my life. As a matter of fact, there were people behind me who kind of knew the Usos because I was, and they were like, "I'm crying because this moment for them meant so much."
I mean, who would
But
have ever thought that the Usos, a tag team, would ever main event WrestleMania?
well, you know what was funny? The story lent it that way
Right.
because I think I get why people were pissed about the Rhea thing, the Royal Rumble, blah blah blah. But the the way that this match went gave you the cliffhanger to go to night two.
If
It
you
made
wasn't
you
already
invested in
invested
night
in it,
two.
I suppose.
I mean, that's what I thought anyway.
What say you, Shooter?
Uh, yeah, the best tag team match to main event at WrestleMania since WrestleMania 1.
Yeah.
Um, it'll probably be another 39 years until we get another tag team main event. But yeah, it was personal. It was it was the start of the epilogue to this part of the story, and it just delivered on all fronts because not only it was it you know, you know Sammy and Kevin ending the historic title reign of the Usos, it's two indie talents who at one point it was believed that they wouldn't get anywhere near the main event stage of WrestleMania. And it's that story that's come to the conclusion. The proof that Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are where they belong. And I don't think I don't think Sammy and Kevin can fall off main eventer status now unless booking does something really stupid. But I'm gonna hold those words uh,
For the
when we get
moment.
to night two and everything, and
Right.
the stupid draft coming back, and
I mean, but for Kevin Owens, this is two in a row.
Right.
So I think it was more for Sammy than. because Owens main evented last year.
But you could make the argument that Kevin Owens was put in that position because Stone Cold trusted him. This was earned by incredible storytelling, telling, body of work, and not to dismiss what he did last year because it was incredible, but this kind of felt more of his moment rather than Stone Cold returning. You know what I mean?
I mean, I get it, but that doesn't change the fact he main evented night one.
For 2 years in a row.
Hmm.
Yeah, but it's
So I
just
think for Owens it was consistency, and for Sammy it was validation.
yes, which is a cool little moment to see. Kevin Owens, because Kevin Owens definitely deserves that spot, and he has. So to see that he got it again is fantastic to see. What does it tell you about the Usos? Because if they didn't make the tag elevate those tag team championships to where they were when they defended them at this show, would they have been in this position to begin with?
Um, I think it is the ultimate top of the building block because I would say the New Day kind of made the tag team scene relevant, and the Usos played a role in that. So when the Usos are in that main event, it's basically carrying all of that prestige, that work that they put in onto the scene. Because keep in mind, like when you think of like the tag matches, the best tag matches in the last 10 years, it's usually like a New Day or a Uso involved.
True. And this figure think that this is the first tag team match to main event WrestleMania since the first WrestleMania. Uh, Scooter, if the build up to Rhea and Charlotte was maybe a little bit more interesting than it actually was, would we still be seeing? Would we have still have seen Sammy and KO main event WrestleMania, or would it have
Yes.
been? Oh,
Yeah, there was no chance Rhea and Charlotte were going to uh, main event.
you feel the same way, Kaliko?
I think if we didn't have the Charlotte burnout, it might have been a different story because that story actually was a good story. Because that story was similar to, I could say that story of Rhea finding herself and getting to the top spot is akin to Kenny Omega finally getting to that top spot. The where they fucked it up was when she beat Asuka 2 years ago. So it didn't feel like she needed it, right?
No, right.
She needed Charlotte for validation, but she's already had the moment.
But yeah, I kind of understand that. But it kind of felt like they were only going on the she beat her 3 years ago at WrestleMania, and they wasn't adding any new shit to the table. And
Yeah, they didn't add the emotional element of how she went through having to form a tag team with a former superhero and blah 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 to become the person that she is now. So
right,
yeah,
and
they should have did
so
a better story.
Charlotte's promos leading up to this were top tier, but Rhea just kind of fell short, in my opinion, when it came to building this the rivalry. And to me, if she maybe would have been a better promo during this time frame, we probably would be saying Rhea Ripley and Charlotte would have main evented, but I guess it just wasn't in the cards for them at this point.
Well, but then again, they're going against the hottest story,
Right.
and that's where the debate is with this Royal Rumble. Because now it's like people are thinking, does the Royal Rumble even matter if you're not main eventing for the women's side?
Well, I mean, the same could have been said about the men's like 10 years ago when Sheamus won the Royal Rumble and was literally the first match out of WrestleMania 28.
True, but that's like one out of what the last 20, 25, 26.
Uh, I mean, we would have to really go into it, but there was a good period of time where whoever won the Royal Rumble didn't main event WrestleMania. I mean, Randy Orton didn't, Sheamus didn't,
Mm, Nakamura didn't.
Nakamura didn't, um,
Lesnar
Seth
did.
Seth Rollins didn't
Hold on,
didn't.
but
Yes, as
there's
Rollins opened.
there's a there is a pattern here
That be
where the last 3 years the women's Royal Rumble winners have won the titles.
that
The
is
men's
correct.
have not.
Yeah. Wait a minute, who won the men's Royal Rumble last year? Oh, Brock.
Brock,
Yeah.
but he lost to Roman,
The last person
which
to
made no
win.
sense because he won the Royal Rumble, won the title, lost to Roman. That was a whole fuck up.
It was slightly convoluted. Yeah, the last person to win the men's Royal Rumble was McIntyre, and win the
Yep.
title.
And go on to win the title, yeah.
Yeah. All right. How many stars do you give Sammy and Owens versus the Usos? Scooter,
5.
Kaliko.
30.
Hey, it's not
No,
in the
seriously.
Tokyo. It's
That
not in the
that
Tokyo
moment
Dome.
that moment when Sammy held Jay up, it was just like, oh my god. Like, right? The three haluva kicks were like,
Yeah,
bro. So yeah, 30.
we could. We only do multiple stars if it's in the Tokyo Dome. Damn it. But all right. Me personally, uh, everything as a whole, yeah, 5 stars. 5 stars. You know why? Because it was the perfect fucking ending. Alright, Kaliko, you wasn't here for the beginning of our review of WrestleMania Night 1. What did you think of the whole show as a whole, Night 1, at least?
Well, when you say the worst match was John Cena, that tells you that it was a stacked night. I think night one will never be topped from top to bottom. That as far as like quality of the matches and even the stories, but it'll never be topped. I think that's the best night one they have ever had.
Um, I don't know. Night 1 of these WrestleManias have honestly been better than Night 2. The last at least, what, 3 nights? The 3 years? Which kind of tell you, well, who was on Night 2? Well, you know who's on Night 2 for the last 3 years. But we'll get to that in, a couple minutes. But, what say you, Scooter? How did you feel about this so as a whole?
I felt very optimistic So yeah, thumbs up.
I was happy about how the show went as well. Like Kaliko said, top to bottom, those last three matches, which was the reason people were at night one, were what they exactly what we wanted, delivered what we needed, and gave us some really cool moments. And uh, dare I say, one of the best matches of the whole week with Seth Rollins and Logan Paul. I definitely give this show a thumbs up. Kaliko, thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle.
Oh, it's two thumbs. Night one was double thumbs up. Everything was just it was just a perfect vibe, and the crowd was perfect. The only thing I hated was those goddamn commercials. Those goddamn commercials.
Oh wait,
And
does Dominic
and
love the
credit
show?
Dominic Mysterio might have had the best entrance of night one.
Yes.
Straight the fuck up.
Yeah, straight out of Auschwitz.
Oh yeah.
He literally left Compton and just like rolled his ass up in there, man.
The X condom.
If he had used a condom, he wouldn't have had a condom.
God, somebody's been on Reddit as of late.
Too much rabbit hole.
Alright, before we start night two, a quick word from our sponsors. TurboTax.
We can dance
You
if
can
we
dance if you want to. You can leave your friends behind.
You can dance. Everybody look at my pants.
You can dance.
Hey, folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show. Support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.